It's 11:47 p.m. You're lying in bed, phone glowing in the dark, and you just bought something you didn't need. Again. You know the feeling. That little spike of relief right after you tap buy, and then, 30 seconds later, the quiet drop in your stomach when the high wears off and you remember what's actually in your account. You've read the articles. Watched the videos. You know overspending is the enemy. You've told yourself this month is different more times than you can count. And yet, here you are. Same pattern. Different month. So here's the question nobody actually asks you: why does this keep happening, even when you know better? What if the problem was never your knowledge? What if it was never even your willpower? What if overspending isn't a flaw in your character, it's a permission your system hands you, quietly, every single day, without you ever noticing? And what if there was a way to take that permission away? For good. Let's talk about willpower for a second. Because that's the lie we've all been sold. Just have more discipline. Just say no to yourself. Just think before you buy. As if discipline is a muscle you can flex at midnight, exhausted, after a 10-hour day, when your brain is fried and your phone is one tap away from a dopamine hit disguised as a deal. Here's what nobody tells you: willpower is a finite resource. It runs out. Every decision you make all day, what to wear, what to eat, how to respond to that email from your boss, drains it a little more. By the time you're scrolling at night, you're not making decisions with a clear mind. You're making decisions with whatever's left over. And what's left over is usually not much. So when you fail to resist that purchase, you didn't fail morally. You ran out of fuel. That's it. That's the whole story. Now, think about how banks, credit cards, and apps are built. Every single one of them is designed to exploit exactly that moment. The moment you're tired. The moment you're vulnerable. One-click checkout. Saved card details. Buy now, pay later. They removed every barrier between your impulse and your money. On purpose. That's not an accident. That's a system. A system built, quietly, intentionally, to make spending as frictionless as breathing. And here's the part that changes everything. If a system can be built to make spending effortless, a system can also be built to make spending hard. Not impossible through guilt. Not impossible through shame. Impossible through structure. This is the shift. You stop trying to fix yourself. You start fixing the environment you make decisions in. Because the truth is, you were never the problem. You were just playing a game with rules stacked against you, and nobody ever told you the rules could be rewritten. Let's go back to the moat for a second. Old castles, the ones still standing in parts of Europe, the ones tourists photograph without thinking twice, they weren't protected by walls alone. The walls were the last line of defense. The real protection was the water around them. The distance. The time it took for an enemy to even reach the wall. That's friction. And friction is the most underrated word in personal finance. Every system that's ever protected something valuable, money, information, decisions, works the same way. It doesn't rely on someone's strength in the moment. It relies on distance. On time. On making the bad decision take longer than the impulse lasts. Now apply that to your money. Right now, your checking account and your spending money are probably the same account. Maybe the same card. Maybe even the same app, one tap away from your savings, if you can call it that. There's no moat. No distance. No time. The impulse fires, and the money is already gone before the feeling even has a chance to pass. Here's the part that's almost insulting when you really sit with it. The average impulse, the actual neurological spike that makes you want to buy something you don't need, lasts somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. That's it. 10 to 20 minutes of heightened wanting, and then it fades. Not disappears completely, but fades enough that you'd probably choose differently. So the question becomes brutally simple. What if your money was built to outlast that window? What if, between you and your spending, there were steps? Not punishments. Steps. A transfer that takes a day to clear. A separate bank, in a separate app, that you have to deliberately log into. A card that's not saved anywhere, not on your phone, not in your browser, nowhere. None of this stops you from spending. You're still an adult. You can still buy whatever you want. It just stops you from spending without thinking. And that, right there, is the entire difference between people who struggle with money for decades, and people who quietly, almost boringly, just don't. It was never about restriction. It was about rebuilding the moat. Now let's talk about the part most people skip. The part that actually does the heavy lifting. Automation. I know, it sounds boring. It sounds like the least exciting word in this entire video. But stay with me, because this is where the system stops being a theory and starts being a wall. Here's the thing about willpower we touched on earlier. It's not just limited, it's expensive. Every time you have to make a decision about money, you're spending energy. Should I transfer this to savings now or later? Should I move this before I see my balance and convince myself I need it? Every one of those tiny decisions is a door. And every open door is an opportunity to walk through it the wrong way. Automation closes the door before you ever get there. Think about it like this. You know how some people say they've never seen certain money? Like it goes from their paycheck straight into something else, a retirement account, a savings account, an investment, before it ever touches their hands? That's not luck. That's not some special financial gene they were born with. That's a pipe. Built once. Running quietly in the background. Forever. And here's what's almost poetic about it. The money they never see is usually the money that actually builds their future. While the money that does touch their hands, that's the money that disappears into things they can't even remember buying 3 weeks later. So here's the real question. What if your paycheck never fully arrived in the account you spend from? What if, the moment it landed, a percentage, doesn't matter if it's 5% or 20%, start where you can immediately move somewhere else. Somewhere with that moat we talked about. Somewhere with friction. Somewhere that takes effort to access. You wouldn't be saving anymore. Saving implies a choice, a moment of willpower, a tiny battle you have to win every single time. This isn't a battle. It's a structure. The money is just gone before the battle even starts. And the wild part? After a few months, you stop missing it. Not because you're disciplined, but because your brain recalibrates to whatever amount actually shows up in front of you. That's it. That's the whole mechanism. Your lifestyle adjusts to the number you see, not the number you earn. Which means the real lever isn't spending less. It's seeing less. Now let's talk about the thing nobody wants to admit. The thing that sits underneath all of this, quietly running the show. Most overspending isn't about money. It's about feelings wearing a price tag. Think about the last few things you bought that you didn't need. Really think. Was it after a hard day? After an argument? After scrolling through someone else's life and feeling, for a second, like yours wasn't enough? After a win, where you told yourself you deserve something? That's not weakness. That's just how humans are wired. We've been trained, by ads, by culture, by literally every screen we look at, to believe that feelings are problems to be solved immediately. And spending? Spending is fast. It's available 24 hours a day. It gives you a result in seconds. Stress goes in, a box arrives in 2 days, and for a moment, just a moment, it feels like the stress is handled. Except it's not handled. It's postponed. And it comes back with a balance attached. Here's the part that took me a long time to understand. The goal was never to stop feeling things. You can't automate your way out of being human. No app, no spreadsheet, no banking trick removes the fact that some days are heavy, and heavy days make you want something to make them lighter. The goal is to put distance between the feeling and the spending. That's it. Not eliminate the feeling. Just delay the reaction to it. Because here's what's strange, almost every system we've talked about so far, the moat, the separate accounts, the automation, they don't just protect your money. They protect that gap. The space between I feel this and I do something about it. And in that gap, something quiet happens. You start to notice the pattern. You start to realize, oh, I'm not actually craving this product. I'm craving relief. And relief has other doors. Doors that don't show up on a bank statement 3 weeks later with a feeling of regret attached to them. This is why people who build these systems don't talk about them like a diet. They don't say, "I'm being good this month." There's no moral language at all. Because once the system is built, spending less isn't a behavior anymore. It's just what happens. Quietly. In the background. While you're busy living your life. Let's talk about the difference between a rule and a law. A rule is something you follow. You can break a rule. You break rules all the time: speed limits, diets, promises to yourself at midnight. A rule needs you to remember it, agree with it, and choose it over and over every single day. In the moment you're tired, or distracted, or just having a bad week, the rule bends. Because rules require you. A law doesn't ask for your participation. Gravity doesn't need you to believe in it. You don't wake up and decide whether gravity applies to you today. It just is. It operates whether you're paying attention or not. This is the real shift we've been circling this whole video. Everything we've talked about, the moat, the automation, the separate accounts, the friction, none of it is a rule. A rule says try not to overspend. What we're building is closer to a law. A structure where overspending isn't something you're resisting anymore. It's something that simply doesn't fit through the door. Here's what's strange about people who've actually built this. Talk to them, and they don't sound proud. They don't sound like they're winning at money. If anything, they sound almost bored by it. Ask them how they manage to save so consistently, and you'll get a shrug. I don't really think about it. And that's not false humility. That's the system working exactly as designed. The less they think about it, the better it's running. Because here's the part that's almost unfair when you really sit with it: the people who talk about money the most, the ones constantly tracking, constantly white-knuckling, constantly working on their budget, are often the ones still stuck in the rule phase. Still relying on willpower. Still one bad week away from undoing a month of progress. Meanwhile, the people who never mention it, the system already absorbed the willpower for them. Months ago. Maybe years ago. It's baked into the architecture now. They're not stronger than you. They just stopped needing strength. And that's the quiet, almost anticlimactic truth at the center of all this. Financial freedom isn't a feeling. It's not some euphoric moment where you suddenly feel rich or in control. It's the absence of a decision. It's a Tuesday where nothing happens. Where the money moves, the bills get paid, the future gets funded, and you don't even notice, because there was nothing to notice. The goal was never to become someone who resists temptation better. The goal was to become someone the temptation can't reach. If you've made it this far with me, if you're still here, at almost 20 minutes in, listening to a guy talk about moats and pipes and Tuesdays where nothing happens, I want to ask you for something small. Hit subscribe. Not because this channel needs the number. Because if any of this landed, even a little, there's more of this waiting for you. Every day. Real talk about money, without the noise, without the hype, without someone yelling at you to manifest abundance. Just systems. Just structure. Just the truth, said plainly. And while you're here, I want to know something. Out of everything we've talked about today, which one hit closest to home? The moat? The automation? That moment at 11:47 p.m. with the phone glowing in the dark? Drop it in the comments. Not for me, for the person scrolling through these comments tonight, feeling exactly what you felt 20 minutes ago. Sometimes the thing that helps someone most isn't the video. It's seeing someone else say, "Yeah, that's me too." Alright. Let's bring this home. Because there's one more piece. One thing we haven't said out loud yet, even though it's been sitting underneath everything this whole time. All of this, the moat, the automation, the friction, the law instead of the rule, none of it is really about money. It's about trust. Specifically, trust in yourself. Think about it. Every time you've broken a promise to your own bank account, some small part of you took note. Filed it away. See? You said you'd save this month. You didn't. And over time, that adds up to something quiet and corrosive, a belief that you simply can't be trusted with your own future. that you're the reason this keeps not working. That belief is the real cost of overspending. Not the money. The money comes back. What doesn't come back as easily is the relationship you have with your own decisions. And this is what the system actually repairs. Not your bank balance first, your belief. Because when the structure does the work, you stop breaking promises to yourself. There's no promise to break. The pipe just runs. The moat just sits there, quiet, doing its job. And slowly, without ever announcing itself, you start to become someone you trust again. Go back, for a second, to that night. 11:47 p.m. Phone glowing. That little spike, and then the drop. Picture that same night, months from now. Same time. Same tired body after a long day. Same phone in your hand. Except this time, there's a moat between you and the impulse. There's a pipe already running, quietly, somewhere you can't see. There's distance. There's a structure that doesn't need you to be strong tonight, because it was built on a day when you were. So you put the phone down. Not because you fought anything. Not because you resisted. There was simply nothing to fight. The decision had already been made. Weeks ago. By a version of you that was thinking clearly, building something for a version of you that wouldn't be. That's the whole story. That's the transformation. It's not a moment of triumph. It's a moment that doesn't happen at all. A non-event. A Tuesday, or an 11:47 p.m., where nothing occurs, and you fall asleep without even noticing what you didn't do. You won't feel like a different person. That's important to understand. You'll feel like the same person, in the same bed, with the same phone. The only difference is what's not there anymore. The friction you used to fight. The guilt you used to carry into the morning. The quiet tally your mind kept of every promise broken. Gone. Not defeated. Just no longer relevant. And maybe that's the part worth sitting with after this video ends. Not how do I save more. Not what's the best app. But this. What would you stop fighting if the fight was never necessary in the first place? If this gave you something to think about, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you'd guess, and it costs you nothing. And if there's someone in your life who needed to hear this tonight, send it to 5 people. Just 5. You'd be surprised who needed it. Leave a comment, an honest one. Not great video. Tell me what part of this is true for you, right now, today. And tell me what you want me to talk about next. I'm listening. I'll see you in the next one.